Greetings, Earthlings! Today my goal is to get the new mainsail on the mast and boom so that I may be ready to sail out of here on Monday. Looks like the weather's pretty good. After that it drops off to no wind and I would just be going out the inlet, shutting down the electric drive and bobbing around in the current, headed north at 4 knots. So a little bit of wind is required. If you recall last time, I had gotten a hold of a sail and had to replace all the slides up and down it to get it to fit onto this track. I'll show you here. So here's the track, riveted into the fiberglass mast. It's as old as the boat and just as solidly built. There's a spot there I need to fix where one of the rivets gave up the ghost. How a stainless steel rivet gave the ghost, that's a little questionable. So I am still in Palm Beach, which is right over here. West Palm is over here. And later I'll probably do a grocery run, but that'll be later this afternoon. So for the minute, I need to get this sail on deck and start to get it onto the mast. It's gonna be a wrestle. I'd forgotten and neglected to mention that I also needed to put the sail bag back on the boat. I had wrapped this up when we had about a 20 knot wind event the other day, so yeah, it's a little tangled. After placing 12 more slides on the mast, it was time for a nice walk to the grocery store, which meant kayaking over to Bradley Park. This outdoor fireplace is all that remains of the opulent house that once stood here. The Chinese style and design of it was popular back in the late 1920s. Okay, so while I had to go out and get groceries, I stopped by here for one beverage, and this is Lucky's, and they have a dog park in the back. I'll show you. The BRK Republic, or the BRK Park here in the back of the bar, is a nice place to, as the bartender put it, have some free endorphins from the puppies.
What you doing? Oh, you green.
Hi, you want to get scratches? As you can see, they have a selection of local beers and ciders. With break time over, I need to get back to the boat to get some things done before I can sail north. So I was inside working away on some stuff and I hear this. I believe it is the wrap-up of the Palm Beach International Boat Show. I saw a couple of the bigger yachts leave just about half an hour ago. These boats are impressive in their size and complexity. Also, they denote pharaonic levels of wealth. Well, I successfully got out of the Port of West Palm without any issue. However, as you can see behind me, there is no wind. There is nothing going on. I am literally drifting north at 1.7 knots with what of the Gulf Stream is influencing this close to shore. Flat glass ocean at the minute. If this doesn't pick up by noon, I'll probably head back into West Palm. Yeah, literally I have like 4 knots of wind out of the northwest. That's it. That would make this a 12-hour sail just to get to Port St. Lucie. With the super calm conditions, I felt completely safe walking out to the bow of the boat and getting this footage. Everything's a little rigged with the new sail, but I've got it reefed down a little bit because I got to get the shape right. And the head sail's doing just fine. This is the new to me mainsail that I picked up at Second Wind Sails in Fort Lauderdale. Somebody commented in the episode Sail Surgery that it sounded as if it is delaminated. That could very well be. It doesn't look like it's separated, delaminated to me. It does sound very strange and crinkly. I agree with that, and it sounds weird because it is a very thin layer of mylar fused over Kevlar and fused to a sheet of polyester. So it's a bit of an odd duckling. So I don't know if it's supposed to sound like that. Time will tell. That's passing just, ooh, lightning. Passing just south and west of me. But close enough to not be fun. Let me put it that way. Oof. I should be able to get into Port St. Lucie, so like near Boy Scout Island. Yeah, hopefully I will miss this storm coming up out to the east. Yeah, it's starting to pick up and it's really wanting to weather helm into that wind, all caused by that storm. But I'm probably doing 5 knots now, out of nothing, from like 2 knots, 2.5 knots to 5, just because of that storm. The wind picked up substantially in the next hour and a half, which sped up the entire sail. I dropped the main to both protect it and stabilize the boat a little better. Operating only with the head sail up, I was able to get in before the worst of it hit. morning I am going to finish my sail up to Fort Pierce. I did not anticipate going back, but some circumstances have made that a better idea. I'll go into that later. So for the time being, head sail on, I'm gonna put the head sail on the foredeck. We got nice wind at like 17 knots coming out of the east all day, 20 miles. Should be a pretty leisurely sail. There's some thunderheads forming up already to the north, but yeah, probably won't be a problem. So here I go. In my haste the previous evening to get the anchor down before the worst of the weather hit, and it was bad, I had haphazardly stuffed the head sail into its bag. I anchored with the strategy to wait out the tide in about 45 minutes, so it would hit slack, and then I would be able to turn under full control and go under the bridge. My apologies for not videoing any of that. I was too busy trying to save my ass. What was fascinating to note while I was sitting there waiting was as the tide came in against the wind and the other current, it stood up in these little white caps you can see right here. Because the wind and current can be squirrely around these bridges, I waited to raise the head sail. Head sail and mainsail up, doing about 3.5 knots, wind straight out of the east. So the good thing about this particular location of the Indian River is there's lots of room and depth, so you can tack and adjust sails and tweak things and all that other stuff, because I'm doing a lot of running back and forth to keep all this going. I'm going to need to make some repairs to that mainsail post haste. I can see where the cabling is coming out of the leading edge of the sail. All right, so at 3 knots, 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that, to Fort Pierce. We'll see. Okay, lesson learned. You cannot combat nature. I was trying to get through this bridge behind me. I couldn't steer the boat. I literally was being pushed at it sideways. I dropped the anchor and stopped about 180 feet short of it. I anchored with the strategy to wait out the tide in about 45 minutes so it would hit slack, and then I would be able to turn under full control and go under the bridge. My apologies for not videoing any of that. I was too busy trying to save my ass. So I just got the anchor down in Wildcat Cove. I managed to make it in and anchor before the sun went down. Yeah. Well, in spite of being away from what I call Dagobah on Earth, Wildcat Cove, where the growth in the bottom of the hull happens very quickly, I've still got quite a bit. I've got to tend to that fairly soon. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And tomorrow, my friend Jess and I will go into Riverside and get his other catamaran, Akaya, out here in the water, hopefully. He's had a little trouble getting the yard to play ball, but we got a pretty solid scheduled agreement with the operator of the yard to put the boat in the water tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully that works out. So next episode will be all about that boat. The plans for it are, it's been rejudged, rebuilt, the interior has been revamped. I did some of the work on it. And it's going to go to Exuma to become like an Airbnb, a place to stay. So as soon as that becomes feasible, I'll let you guys know about that. I actually sort of got into boating that way. I had never really spent any time on a boat before a trip to Key West. My friend Tim says, "Hey, do you want to try staying on a boat? They call it boat camping." And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I said, sure, why not? I had kind of thought previously about buying a boat, but really hadn't given too much serious consideration to that point. But it was actually a very pleasant 3 days in the Keys. There were thunderstorms of lightning and wind, and kayak trips around the boat and all that stuff, and a nice walk into Key West. So that was kind of my first introduction to live-aboard lifestyle. But of course, if you're really going to do it, then you're into mending sails and installing electric drives and cleaning boat bottoms and all the other things that go along with it. So I will see you next transmission. or I'm pretty certain that we will have a kaya on the water out here being prepped to go cross to Exuma.